every part of our practice is about watching the fluctuations of the mind, the rise and the fall of thoughts and ideas as we drift forward and back in time. Um, when we find emotion that is intense, that when we are scared, when we are under pressure, the entire practice is where is the mind at this moment? And it's I don't know if it sounds simple, but I know it ain't easy. And this whole practice is how do I not let the mind get in the way of experience? Because for us humans, like, we like to be comfortable, and we like things of convenience. So the practice is putting ourselves in situations that are uncomfortable or unfamiliar or intense, and see if we can watch where the mind goes. This is the practice of asana. So we watch the fluctuations of the mind as we move our bodies into variations that create sensation. We also practice in meditation. So we watch the fluctuations of the mind when we don't do anything. And then there's the realization, oh man, the mind is running and racing all the time. So we just want to bring awareness to where does it race to? How do I remind myself to bring it back to present moment and feeling and sensation? And all these practices are essential, right? Sit practices, movement practices, slow practices, fast practices, complex practices. So I want to do one gentle little meditation a day that gives us a chance to balance out all this fluctuations of the mind. So let's sit for a moment here. So let's cross your legs, either right shin in front of left shin, or right shin on top of left shin. You can slide something underneath the hips to support the knees and the lower back. And then we're going to lengthen through torso, so we're going to lift the heart. So there's a little bit of action going on with the spine. And then we're going to soften shoulders. So there's parts of the body that are going to be awake, and there's going to be other parts of the body that are soft. So there's a little bit of strength within the belly to keep the spine tall. Then there's the softness of the shoulders that draws the shoulders down and away from the ears. And there's a subtle tucking of the chin. Now we're going to do a little mudra with the hands. And this keeps the mind focused, narrowed, right? So palms are up. You're going to take your thumbs to your index fingers. Now, the key of the thumbs to the index fingers is that you're just barely touching. You can just barely feel the tips of the fingers. Now, when you do this, you're going to take your other three fingers, and they're going to be strong. They're going to be extending away from you. So we have a very subtle sensation on the tips of the finger, and then we have the other three fingers that are pulling away from us. And then the backs of the hands rests on the thighs or the knees. So you have some action going on with the hands. Now the representation here is the thumbs just barely touching the index finger is you, just barely touching your potential of a human being. The other three fingers are things that are being you're resilient to, that you're extending away from. From here, you lengthen again through the spine, tuck the chin, close your eyes, relax your jaw, and allow that breath to be very smooth. So allowing the mind to be focused, aware of certain parts of the body, the hands, the belly, the length of the spine. And then there's some softness, shoulders, breath, jaw, forehead, toes. Check in with that subtle sensation, thumb to index finger. See if you can drop the tongue off the roof of the mouth and allow that breath to be a little bit smoother. Is your spine as tall as you can get it? And are your shoulders nice and relaxed? Soften the lips. And feel the exhalation on the top of the lip, maybe the edges of the nostrils. Where does your mind race to? Draw the chin a little bit towards the chest. Soften all of your fingers so the palms are really relaxed now. Take a nice big inhale through your nose and exhale out your mouth. Start to wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists. Move the head around a little as you start to bring your awareness to the neck. Big, slow circles with the head, clockwise, counterclockwise. If you're feeling any sensation within the neck that needs attention, by all means, pause there. Meditation in the morning is probably the easiest time to meditate. It's when the mind is most malleable. There's little less coming in. Right? At the end of the day, meditation is important because we've had so much experience throughout the day. We're trying to decompress, but in the morning we can create a little bit of intention into the day. A little bit of movement with the torso from side to side and start to help with the immune system. Also, morning practice is nice because they say that it's the highest time of prana, and so energy level. Start to circle the torso. And the other way with the torso. And then start to roll the shoulders up towards the ears, peel them back, down, and forward. We're just going to make some circles there. And then we'll go front ways and back ways. And then roll those wrists. Wiggle your fingers. Pulse the hands. And then take your right hand to the floor. And left arm reaches up. Ease into a little bit of a side bend as you give yourself some expansion in left ribs. Swivel the chin up and down. Inhale, gently come on up. Take your left hand down. Take your right arm up and over. And then once again, a little bit of movement with the chin. And breathe into the right ribs. You can even rotate that right hand a bit so you can move the shoulder around. And inhale, gently bring yourself on up. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Straighten the elbows. A little bit of movement with the head. Soften the jaw. Thank you, baby. All right, release the hands. Shake them out. So as you can see, no baby is here yet. Baby's still in the belly. All right, let's take our hands behind us, and we're going to extend those legs nice and long. Flex and point your toes a few times. Take the hands into fists, a little tap of the thighs. Move the flesh from out underneath your sit bones. And long spine as you root down, belly button towards the thighs. Nice and easy today. So arms can cross in the thighs, the palms can swivel up, tuck the chin, a little rounding of the back. Try not to pull here. Big inhale, slow exhale, as we're just creating a little inventory today. So as we watch the fluctuations of the mind, we don't, as we just probably witnessed and experienced in the sit posture, we don't need to do much with the body for the mind to run all over the place. So the asana in our yoga is secondary. It's not necessary to do heavy asana, although that's available. It's a nice tool to have when we're struggling throughout the day. For me, when I struggle throughout the day, heavy asana works for me. But it's not necessary, right? So this gentle forward fold, probably giving you some sensation, maybe calves, backs of the knees, hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. The mind still has a tendency to run around, even when we sit still. So when the sensation arises in the body, usually the mind will go to that sensation. And then we kind of witness of how the mind kind of manages the sensation within the physical body. Because at some point, we're going to be uncomfortable in this body. If not now, in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, there's going to be some point where the body has a little injury or a breakdown or something happens. So all this stuff is preparation. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together. Hips towards heels. Belly button towards the, let's say, toes. Knees fan out nice and wide. Tuck the chin. And a breath or two here. Nice inhale, come on up. Scoot those feet a little bit farther out in front of you. So your legs are making like a square, right shin parallel to left thigh. Move your torso a little bit side to side so you can kind of move the hips around their sockets. Lengthen through torso nice and tall. Soften as you start getting closer towards the feet. Once again, not much is needed. You don't have to pull and press and push. You pull, press, and push when there is just not enough sensation or the mind is running around, kind of going from idea to thought. Then you may want to do a little bit more. This practice is not about fixing the body. It's about understanding the body, right? There's a big difference. I am innately a fixer. When somebody says I got a problem, the first thing I think is like, how do I fix that? I get it from my parents. My parents are like, they always take care of people. They always fix things. The problem is that we can't fix a lot of things for other people, right? And oftentimes we can't fix the body. We can just nurture the body. We support it until it heals. So this practice is not about fixing. It's about connection. It's about understanding. And within that becomes the fixing. So if we want to fix, we steer clear of the idea of fixing, right? It is that's kind of a Taoist idea, like one hand clapping. It's a little bit of a challenge. Nice. Inhale, come on up. Keep your legs where they are. We're going to go to the left hip. We're going to grab that right foot ankle, and we're going to take the knee out to the side. If there's any sensation in this right knee that's uncomfortable, you can scoot the knee a little bit farther forward, or you can slide something soft underneath the knee. If you're looking for a little bit more in the groin, you can open up that knee a little bit more, but I want to make sure that there's no sensation that's uncomfortable in the knee. The left heel comes towards the middle of your body, so the groin and sternum. The left knee is 90 degrees. So I don't need it really close, and I don't want it really far either. So somewhere right in between. We're all probably resting on the left hip. So I want to lift the pelvis off the ground and rotate the pelvis forward so we're on top of that left hip. So we're going to take the hands down. We're going to press down and lift up, and we're going to lean forward, and then we're going to lower that left hip down. And then the left hand comes to the floor and the right hand comes to the bottom of the foot. You should start feeling in this in the left hip, maybe in the right groin. And then you're just going to hinge forward. Now I can feel it really quickly in that left hip. You can even move a little bit from right to left to find out where that sensation moves, or if it moves. Mine right now, that left hip is so tight. I haven't practiced this morning, so this is my practice. That left hip is telling me there is some emotions that I have not digested the last couple days. Something's going on. Maybe stress. I mean, there's I'm expecting a baby any second. So there is this waiting game that we're playing. And you get a little anxious, and what happens for me is I know exactly where my anxiety comes into. It comes into my hips, it comes into my upper back and neck. So this is what's going on right now. So the question is, how do I take care of myself? Well, one of them is to move just like this. Another one is to sit. One more deep, full breath. All right, come on up. Roll to that left hip and grab that right foot, bring it back around, soles of the feet together again. A little shift from side to side. So we're just kind of getting neutral before we go to the other side. And then once that's feeling pretty good, let's roll to that right hip and draw that left foot, left knee back. Once again, it doesn't matter where that knee is. What matters is how it feels. So left knee, upper back. Right heel, middle of the body, right knee 90 degrees. If you're needing more sensation in the left groin, you can scoot the left heel away from the left hip a little bit. Doesn't have to go out too far. That could put pressure in the knees, so be careful of that. Hands are down, lift the hips up, rotate your pelvis forward, lower that hip down, right hand comes down, left hand to the bottom of the foot. That's to kind of keep you centered. Oh, I just had like a pop in the left groin, a pop in the right groin. So a little bit of movement from side to side. And then there's a softening that we move either towards that sensation, and for me it's to the right, or maybe a little bit away from the sensation, which would show up in my left groin if I go to the left. So know where that sensation is. Right? That's the key of our practice. It's knowing where your body holds stress and tension, injury, or whatever you've been doing, right? So if you've been gardening, if you went gardening yesterday, maybe the lower back is feeling it. If you've been walking a lot, maybe the calves feel it. Maybe you've been riding your bike, so the hips are feeling it. So it's just kind of inventory of body. What's going on this morning with myself? And what am I going to need to take care of as I move through the day? I'm going to definitely need a couple hip openers today for sure. One more deep, full breath. Inhale, slowly come on up. Roll to that right hip and sweep that left foot around. Soles of the feet together again, and then scoot those feet a little bit farther out in front of you. So now your legs are like a diamond shape. You're going to move the flesh from under your sit bones, and once again, you're going to hinge at the pelvis. The torso stays long from tailbone to crown of the head. And you're getting as far forward as you can. And once you have this extension and length, then you tuck your chin, round upper back, middle back, maybe low back. And then you soften. So let gravity do a little bit more of the work as you relax your arms, your head, and your torso. And then you're just kind of letting the body unwind. And then we can just check out the mind where it goes to. Like when I get into this pose, my mind goes right to the outsides of both of my hips. And the first thing is like, whoa, that's intense. How do I support myself? And how can I relax? And when I do it, how does my body respond? Today, my hips feel quite rigid. Like there's days where I can pull and press and the body responds. Today, it's like, how about you just stay here for a moment? Right? And we're not, what we're trying to do is we're trying to steer clear of judgment of the body. You know, we say as in yogis, like we're always coming to our mat with a beginner's mind, meaning that the mind is just entered this body for the very first time, and I am having a relationship or communication with the body. Slowly come on up. Hands on the outsides of the knees, lift them on up and extend the legs again. Give them a shake, take the hands into fist, tap the legs. Go all the way back to the hips and the lower back. Shake out the legs, and then take the hands behind you. Fingertips can face away from you. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor. And then you're going to just drop your knees right and left. You're going to windshield wiper the legs side to side. As we just try to get the body malleable. Sometimes the body just doesn't get there, and that's fine. Maybe we just need all day long to kind of move around. I can feel my hips really tight this morning. Sometimes the humidity has effect on the body as well, right? Or the temperature. All right, you're going to lean back a little bit. You're going to get that right shin over the left thigh. So a little bit more hips. Roll your right ankle so you're resting just above the ankle. So the ankle bone is on the left side of the left thigh. Draw your right knee away from you as you get a little bit of length here, maybe some sensation in the lower back. Start to bring your heart towards your shin and lengthen through the torso. I find that it's a really beautiful metaphor. Like there's moments where I have these incredible birds, and then there's these moments where I have the garbage trucks. So I'm in nature, and then I'm in the city. I'm in nature, I'm in the city. All right. If you need more sensation in that right hip, you can scoot the hip towards the heel or the heel towards the hip, right? And then you can lengthen through torso again. Arms are going to be working no matter where you are. You also have an option here of cradling your right shin and straightening the left leg. So the crease of the left elbow is just above the right ankle. And you're going to lift that right ankle up and you're going to squeeze the shin towards the chest. Now, a perfect example here is if you look at the screen, you can see my back being rounded. This could be too much for me because I want my spine to be straighter. Yeah, I can get into the pose, and yeah, I can move around. I can feel it in the hip. But this is probably a better decision for me. Spine becomes long, heart's coming towards the shin. So with a long spine, I can feel it. But if you want to, you have this option, right? The thing that I'm always looking for is integrity of spine. Like I want the spine to be straight so the communication from the body can go right straight to the brain without any intersections, right? Rounding, and it goes through the spinal column. So long spine to make sure that there's no interference with the communication from body to mind. All right, so if you're cradling your shin, bend your left knee and bring the shin down. Everybody rotate your hands so your fingers are facing your hips. Press down through that left foot, lift your hips up. Draw your right knee towards the floor. Hips lift, chin and chest lift. And then exhale, lower the hips down, rotate your hands away from you, and then we're going to windshield wiper the legs again side to side. And then let your legs drop to the right. Lift the heart, draw your left shoulder back. Soften the legs a moment here. Come on up to center. Slide your right shin in front of your left shin. So you got cross-legged pose. Arms reach up. Wiggle your fingers. Roll your wrists. Elbows bend. Hands and elbows draw back. Take the right elbow underneath your left elbow. Grab your shoulders. Elbows up towards the chin, and then towards the nose, and then towards the forehead. Elbows towards the chest, then the belly button, then the heels, and then the floor. Let's do it again. Inhale, come on up, elbows up, chin, nose, forehead, up towards the ceiling, maybe a subtle back bend. And then elbows towards the chest, towards the belly button, towards the heels, towards the floor. Tuck your chin. Inhale, come on up. Release your arms. Give them a little shake. Lower down towards your elbows. Soften the knees. If you're feeling like you need more sensation, right shin stacks on left shin. And then lower all the way to your back. Hands can find upper thighs. They could flip up by your side body. Or left hand to heart, right hand to belly. Start to soften the knees. Soften the groins. The hip flexors. The lower back. The mid-back. Soften the fronts of the shoulders and the chest. Soften the neck and the head. Soften the jaw. The surrendering and softening of the body is vulnerability, right? It's us letting go of our control. We have this ignorance that we think that we control the external world because it makes us feel safe. The reality is we control very little of the external world. And that letting go of that, it's a little scary. It shows our vulnerability. But then the power in vulnerability is there's a connection. And within connection there is support. And connection and support has a different level of safety. It means that we're always okay no matter what is going on externally. Start to walk your feet very slowly forward. Knees start to straighten. Extend your arms up over your head and stretch from your fingers all the way down to your toes. On your exhalation, draw both knees towards your belly or your chest. Wrap your arms around the legs and squeeze. And then let's take our right knee and stack it on top of our left knee. Keep drawing the thighs towards the belly, chest. If you're needing more of a hip opener, hands grab the shins just above the ankles. Lift your feet up so the knees get a little bit more, let's say 90 degrees. Draw your feet away from one another. And then draw your ankles down towards your, let's say, your armpits. This is a floating Gobokasana, or cow face pose on our back. Very deep hip opener. All right, so the knees stay stacked, the hands let go, and then the knees gently drop to the left. If there is any sensation in the lower back that is not manageable, either draw the thighs away from the belly or unwind the legs so the right knee is next to the left knee rather than on top. Arms open up, chin can drop towards the right shoulder, eyes can be closed. And then give yourself about 3 or 4 of the deepest, slowest, most mindful breaths you've taken in the last couple days. Through every exhalation, there is a softening and a surrendering into this very moment. We are safe here right now. The moment is perfect. It has everything we need. We are perfect. Our physical body's perfect. Our emotions, our intellect, our creativity. We're exactly where we need to be. We know enough to be dangerous, but we're ignorant to all things, so we're always working towards shining the light a little bit on that ignorance, trying to learn and trying to grow the best we can. All right, slowly bring your knees on up, unfold the legs if they are still crossed, keep the knees bent, keep the feet to the floor, and we're going to windshield wiper the legs again, side to side. Bring your awareness to the variation, right side, left side, lower back. And then gently draw the knees towards the belly. A little squeeze here. And we're going to rock front to back. We're going to do that 4 or 5 times just to kind of massage the muscles on each side of the spine. And then rock yourself all the way up to your seat. Extend your legs out in front of you. Give a shake. Gentle hinge forward. Check in. Where do you feel it? What do you need? Inhale, come on up. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor. Take your hands behind you, fingertips facing away from you. Take your left shin over your right thigh. You may need to scoot your right foot forward. You may need to lean back to get there. Once you get there, you can start to scoot that right heel towards the right hip, and you can start to straighten the spine. And then bring the heart towards the left ankle or left shin as you invite the left knee away. You can move your hips right and left. You can also move the hips so far to the right and then lean to that left hip as you kind of massage that left glute. And you have that option again of cradling the left shin with the creases of the elbows and straightening the left knee. This is I'm a little bit more open on this side, so my spine's a little bit straighter. This probably works for me on this side. So once again, there's an inventory. Knowing that my right hip is tighter than my left hip, that means that I'll probably have to do a couple right hip openers to make sure that that area of stress and tension is taken care of. Not that I don't feel it in this hip, right? So you always have an internal dialogue with your body and the mind. The body is the representation of what's happening in the head. Or, let me take that back. Sometimes the body is the representation of what's going on with the head. So if you're stressed or you have some tension, the body will simulate that, right? That sensation. The reason why I say sometimes is because sometimes we're just doing physical activity and the body is the result of that. All right, one more deep, full breath. Right knee bends if it's straight. Left shin comes down. Everyone rotate your hands so your fingers are facing your hips. Right foot presses down, hips lift up, left knee draws towards the floor. Reverse three-legged table. It's just a counter pose for all that forward folding that we're doing. All right, slowly lower the hips down, rotate your hands so your fingers are facing away from you, and then a little bit of movement again with the legs side to side. When you're ready, knees or legs drop to the left. So your left ankle is inviting your right knee towards the floor. The heart lifts as you take the curvature out of your lower back and then draw that right shoulder back. Once you get here, soften the legs. You may feel it in right groin. You may feel it in lower or mid back. I feel a little bit in that right shoulder if I draw back far enough. And then inhale, come back to center. Slide the left shin in front of the right shin. Cross-legged pose. Get nice and tall with the torso. Let's move the torso a little side to side again. Immune system. This is good for kidneys. This is nice for the digestive system. And then make circles like you're playing with a hula hoop. You're going to go in one direction, and then you're going to go in the other direction. Oh, yeah. Once again, belly, lower back, spine. Move the head, relax the neck, arms reach up. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, bend the elbows. Hands and elbows draw back. Left elbow underneath right elbow. Grab your shoulders. Elbows up, chin, nose, forehead, and then elbows towards chest, towards belly button, towards ankles, towards floor. Let's do it again. Come on up. Elbows up, chin, nose, forehead, ceiling, maybe a little back bend. Keep reaching the elbows. Elbows towards the chest, towards the belly button. Round, tuck the chin. Elbows towards the shins and then towards the floor. Inhale, come on up. Release your arms, shake them out. Let's interlace the fingers behind the back again. Squeeze shoulder blades, straighten the elbows. Want to keep on taking care of the neck. So right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Arms could come off the lower back if you're needing more sensation. Release the hands, shake them out. Elbows behind you. Lean back. Soften the knees. If you need more, left shin on right shin. And then lower all the way down slowly. Knees soften. The hip flexors soften. That's the tops of the thighs that connects to the hip bones. Relax the groins. Soften the lower back so the tailbone roots into the ground. The curvature of the back starts to relax as the mid-back softens. And then soften the shoulder blades. So maybe kind of scoot the shoulders towards one another as the heart stays open. Fronts of the shoulders and chest are relaxed. The palms can swivel up. They can rest on the thighs. You can even give yourself a massage on the thighs, the hip flexors. Or left hand to heart, right hand to belly. Relax the jaw. Do a little less here. Feel gravity on the body. Nice, and very slowly start to walk your feet forward. And start to straighten those knees. Arms reach up over your head. Stretch from your fingers all the way down to your toes. And then draw the knees towards the chest. A little squeeze. Take your left knee on top of the right knee. And then draw the thighs towards the belly. This may be plenty. For more, hands reach up just above the ankles, so on the shins. And then you're going to lift your feet up so the knees get somewhere around, let's say, 90 degrees, or that's the direction we're trying to get. You may not be able to get there. And then draw the feet away from one another, so you're really stacking the shins or the knees. And then draw those ankles down towards the rib cage. Now this side is much tighter for me. Ooh. Breathe. Soften. Arms are really working here for sure. One more deep full breath. Woo. All right. Knees stay stacked. Really gently let the knees fall to the right. Make sure that you make the modifications that work for the spine. So if stacking knees is too much because it's a very intense spinal twist, you can scoot the thighs away from the belly or unwind the legs so you can kind of ease into the pose. So make the modifications in a way that support the body. So you may even feel a little sensation front of the left shoulder and left side of the chest. If it's too much, slide the hand back down towards the hip. You could even bend and straighten the elbow or swivel your palm up or down in a way that supports the left shoulder. Chin can be at the chest or over the left shoulder. The eyes can be open or closed. Soften through every exhalation. You are doing more than enough here. All right, nice and slowly start bringing the knees back up. Unfold the legs if they're crossed. Take your feet to the floor. Windshield wiper your knees side to side, gently side to side. We just did a lot of stuff with the spine and hips and lower back, so we just want to make sure that we're back to neutral, and then we're just going to do a gentle bridge pose. So press through the feet, lift the lower back, maybe the mid back. Maybe this is enough. Maybe this amount is enough where you can stay. If you need more, you can start to lift up higher. You can even squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another. And maybe you interlace the fingers behind your back. Hips are lifting, the chin is tucking, and you're getting some length, strength in the spine and torso. One more deep, full breath. Release the hands, lower the hips, and then once again move those knees side to side. Draw the knees towards the belly, chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Squeeze. Rock front to back. And then rock yourself all the way up to your seat. Now, we're going to do one more pose before we go into our Shavasana. You're going to come to your knees. We're going into frog pose. So you may need a blanket or something soft for your knees because we're working with groins and sometimes the knees kind of get the brunt of it. So we're kind of in table pose. Now I'm perpendicular with my mat because my knees are going to go wider than my mat. If I'm facing the front, my knees fall off my mat. So I like to actually rotate so I have this support with my knees on the mat. You're going to separate your knees nice and wide. Then you're going to get your knees in 90 degrees. So you're going to scoot your feet out. So if you're perpendicular like I am, the shins are parallel to the short ends of the mat. Then you're going to flex your feet so your feet are in 90 degrees. So my groins are so tight today that my shins don't get to 90 degrees, but I'm trying to get there. Now, once you're here, you're going to draw your hips back a little. I don't have much room to go. Once you're there, you can lower to your elbows. Oh, man. So your adjustment is hips back towards, I don't know, heels. And then you just soften. You're not wanting to press too much in this pose. You're just kind of managing the body just so you can hang here. Keep on breathing. Almost there. All right, hands under shoulders. Really slowly start to lift yourself on up. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Draw your torso a little forward and then start to scoot one knee in, other knee in, feet in. Oh, yeah. Into table. Holy moly, that was something. Move your hips from side to side. I did frog pose 2 days ago and it was fine. I don't know what happened. Belly drops, lift the heart, lift the chin and chest. Exhale, round and squeeze. Let's do a few of these cat cows. Mm. Mm. All right, roll over your toes, push your hips towards your heels, and then let's slide in a down dog. And then let's invite right heel towards the floor, left heel towards the floor. Like you're riding a bicycle. Shake your head yes and no. And then just start to walk your feet to your hands. Separate those feet a little bit wider. Bend the knees a bit so the belly comes towards the thighs. Tuck your chin, sway your torso, sway your hips. So bending and straightening one knee, then the other knee. And then root down with that left hand right below your nose. Twist and open, right arm reaches up. Roll the right wrist, wiggle the fingers, pulse the hand. Right hand comes down right below the nose. Twist and open, left arm reaches up. You may need to bend your right knee a little bit more to get the twist. Exhale, left hand comes down, tuck the chin again. Hands come to mid-thigh. Come up halfway, flatten your back like a table. Lift the chin. Come all the way up. Shake out the legs. Shake out the hands. Roll the neck. Press right foot, left foot like you're marching. All right. A little vinyasa. Hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. Lift the chin, lift the chest. A little back bend if you need it. Exhale, hands through heart center. Fold forward, no rush. Release your arms, tuck your chin. Inhale, halfway up, flatten. Lengthen, lift the heart. Exhale, bend the knees, plant your hands, walk, step, all the way back, top of a push-up. Either knees, floor, cobra, or halfway down, up dog. Transition from down dog, either table, then down dog, or straight to down dog. 3 slow, mindful breaths. Drop to your knees, cross at your ankles, roll over your feet. Extend your legs out in front of you. Give a little shake. Scoot your heels towards the corners of your mat. Time for Shavasana. Lower all the way down. Oh, sorry. I want to do a happy baby. So bend the knees. Arms reaching between the legs. It's a nice way to finish off with the hips. Hands to the bottoms of the feet, ankles or shins. Separate your feet nice and wide. Knees come down towards the floor, tailbone towards the floor. A little rock from side to side. Play a little bit by bending and straightening the knees. Maybe moving the feet in and out. Rocking a little side to side. You can even massage your feet. Oh yeah, those are my toes. One more breath. Nice. Now Shavasana is waiting for you. Heels, corners of the mat. You can use a blanket or a pillow underneath the knees to support the lower back. You can do the same thing with the spine. So you can put like a pillow down the spine to help with the lower back. Tuck your chin, close your eyes. Palms can swivel up or left hand to heart, right hand to belly. Make the adjustments so the body's comfortable. Tuck your chin. Close your eyes. Drop that gaze inward to that spot where you feel safe, where you feel supported, where it's like where you can recharge your energetic pattern. This internal space is always available when the external world gets a little out of hand, chaotic. We can just close our eyes, drop inside, check in, replenish and nourish the system. And when we're ready, the eyes open and we step back into that physical world. Knowing that this practice of stillness, of movement, of watching the fluctuations of the mind is always available to us. The more we practice, the stronger, the more malleable we become. And in this last asana, there is a chance for us to be open to all things. The things that are enjoyable, as well as the things that are challenging. It's like a package deal. So for the next few moments here, just rest. As you bring your awareness to the stillness and the surrounding of your body, allow your breath to deepen. Brushing your thumbs over your fingertips. Gently start to wiggle your toes. Rolling your wrists, your ankles. Dropping your ear towards the earth as you rock your head a little side to side. Moving the arms and moving the legs very slowly. Extend the arms over your head and stretch from your fingers all the way down to your toes. Get really nice and long. On your exhalation, just relax. Allow the body to be still. As you fill your heart with gratitude for the opportunity that we have to move through this day mindful of our needs. Maybe to slow down, to feel the details and subtleties of the body. Find connection, empathy. And to experience this human condition 100%. Slowly draw the knees towards the belly, chest, wrap your arms around your legs, give yourself a squeeze. Right arm reaches up over your head, roll to your right side. This day is an opportunity for us to explore, not only externally, but internally. How do we perceive the external world? How do we move through this day? It's our responsibility to manage that. Pressing your hands into the floor, bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. And with a nice long spine, soften the shoulders, relax your jaw. Bring the hands together as a reminder of our connection to all things. Thumbs come towards the heart as a reminder that we are the expression of love. Tuck the chin, take a nice big inhale through your nose and exhale out your mouth. Thanks for sharing your morning practice. Have a beautiful day and namaste. Nice work, yogis. If you guys have any questions,